Hello, this is TJR. Thank you for stopping by. The new Steven Wilson remix of Black and Blue by the Rolling Stones released this weekend, and I want to share my thoughts with you. Please refrain from sharing feedback in the comments section until you've heard the entire review, and then let me know your thoughts and feelings on the remix as well. When this remix was first announced, I certainly had a very keen interest in hearing how Steven Wilson might approach this particular album, and probably more so than on previous remixes that he's done. Because when I think of Steven Wilson, I think of him as the guy that remixes bands that are from rock's more progressive corners, bands like Chicago and Jethro Tull. And when I think of Stones albums, I think more groove-oriented. So I wondered how he might approach a more groove-oriented band. Now for this review, I listened on noise-canceling headphones, and I did a direct A to B comparison for each track. And in each case, I first listened to the original mix and then the stereo mix. I'll discuss my first impressions for each track and a little bit about what stood out the most, and then I'll give a quick summary at the end. Track 1, Hot Stuff. One of my favorites off of this album. This has always been an insanely cool jam. For this 2025 remix, the opening guitar riff just has more weight. I can feel the palm mutes and percussive pick slaps when it hits the guitar. For some, this might be too much information, but for me, it adds more. Another very welcome change on this track is the piano fills have more presence now during the instrumental section, and during mixed vocals vamping as well. Oftentimes, this was more felt than heard. Steven Wilson has brought the piano more forward, and I think that this track is stronger for it. Track 2, Hands of Fate. This track feels a whole lot more opened up now. I can hear the background vocals much more clearly when Mick sings, "I had to save her life, yeah, I gunned him twice." These vocals were always there, of course, but again, in the original mix, they were more felt than heard. Also, in the original mix, the guitar solos were always very prominent. Now, in this new mix, they are still very prominent, but now the rest of the band feels less in the background. I'll also add that during the second guitar solo, Wilson brings the song's piano licks more into the open, again without sacrificing any of the guitar solo. Track 3, Cherry O Baby. Now, if you listen to this one, you'll notice that there are these busy little textural guitar licks being played in the background of the original mix. I can imagine that back when this album was first being produced, there might have been some concern that these textural guitar parts, while very cool sounding, could possibly kind of crowd out the vocals and other instrumentation and make it verge on incoherent noise, which would justify pushing them more into the background of the track. So I'm happy to say that Steven Wilson has managed to give these guitar parts a little bit more room in the spotlight, I'm happy to say. And again, he does none of this at the expense of the vocals or the rest of the album's instrumentation. Okay, so we're already about 3 tracks in, and I'm hearing a trend. Whenever the band feels too much in the background of, say, a solo instrument, Wilson finds more room on the soundstage to let you hear that band better, but still keep the solo out front. Similarly, if a background texture was more felt than heard, Steven Wilson finds a way to let you both hear it and feel it, but again, without sacrificing the band. Track 4, Memory Motel. I think that Steven Wilson has really brought out the sweetness in this song. And I don't mean lyrical or sentimental sweetness. I'm talking musical sweetness. I also think he has allowed Keith Richards' vocal to sound a bit less processed and more natural. And I think this better highlights the distinctive differences between the voices of Mick Jagger and Keith Richards. Track 5, Hey Negrita. This track just feels deeper, darker, heavier, and more rockin' now. Enough said. Track 6, Melody. This is such an underrated and overlooked blues number from the Stones, and it just doesn't get its due. And this remix really brings out the intimacy of the nightclub when you listen to it. For me, this is one of the more startling A to B comparisons. I think I can best describe this as like saying, think about how it must have felt for moviegoers back in the 50s after they experienced CinemaScope for the first time. So far, it is this track that benefits the most from this new remix, and it swings in a way that it hasn't previously. Track 7, Fool to Cry. I remember that Hot Stuff got some radio airplay back in the day, but it was really Fool to Cry that was the big radio hit off of this album. Again, Steven Wilson brings up the intimacy level for this ballad, and while it's not as in your face as Melody, it really doesn't need to be, and he stays very true to this song's laid-back vibe. This brings us to the album's closing, track 8, Crazy Mama. Now, in the same way that Mr. Wilson let you feel the nightclub in Melody, he lets you feel the stadium concert hall in Crazy Mama. For me, the most startling difference that I hear on this one is just how much more crazy magical the dual guitar solo is at about the 2-minute and 20-second mark. Check that out and let me know what you think. In summary, I would say that Steven Wilson's remix of Black and Blue is best described as the remix you didn't know you needed. And that each song's individual musical identity is given more room and a better spotlight to shine in. I know that this album has its detractors, but I was never one of them. If you were, I would recommend giving this album another chance. And if you are like me and felt that this album has always been underrated, I think you're going to feel like you are hearing it again for the first time. This is TJR. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours. If you like these videos, please click like and click subscribe. This will encourage me to make more videos. In a few moments, you will see some links for some other videos that I have created that I think you might enjoy. Please check them out. I want to give a big thank you and shout out to my Patreon supporters. Patreon supporters do get exclusive weekly videos not available on this channel. Go to patreon.com/TJR the original if you'd like to become a Patreon supporter. Everyone, thank you so much for watching, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Stay safe and healthy. Take care. Bye-bye.